contract this big, but obviously we're optimistic, and our goal is to get it done before, before you have to tag, last day to tag. Really, that's the facts of where we were.
Right.
And certainly we've done a lot of thinking about it and looking at it, and we'll see where we end up.
Any hindsight, or was that maybe that was a mistake by being?
I'm not going to hindsight.
You'd like not to use a franchise tag on him. You'd like to do a long-term deal. But
Yes.
if you have to franchise tag, is it accurate to say it would be the exclusive variety?
I'm not going to get into any of the details of the contract and franchising and that type of thing. Our goal is to get it done with Dak, and I know he wants to be here, and we want him to be here long term. And he's our guy. We've got nothing but the highest regards for him, and we want to get the deal done.
When you say the CBA's factor, is that because of the franchise rules and?
Yeah,
and
30% rules when you're going into the last year of the CBA. There's a lot of moving parts that go with how the contract's structured.
How would you characterize your last meeting with Dak and his agent?
It just kind of stopped, and we kind of left it where it was. And, I wouldn't say there was anything acrimonious. We just we felt like we were kind of where we were, and we never really got going again.
Given the success you guys,
still not close to a deal with them at this stage?
Well, once we didn't get it done, no, I'm not surprised we don't have it done. Once we didn't get it done, right there at the beginning of the season, it certainly doesn't surprise me that it's not done yet right now. I mean, I was surprised that we didn't get it done at the beginning of the season. And obviously, Jerry's thoughts on it. We all thought we were close, but we weren't able to get it done.
did you think about going in another direction at the position?
Absolutely not. I mean, Dak's our quarterback, and he's our quarterback for the future, and we have nothing but the greatest respect for him. He's a competitor. He's won a lot of football games for us. Obviously, he, like us, we all want to take that next step, and get into a championship game and, get to the big game and ultimately win a championship. So there's no thoughts like that.
He's your guy, but you guys have been talking now for the last year, and it still seems like you guys aren't anywhere close to getting this thing done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to comment on that other than, we feel strongly about getting it done, and sometimes things take longer than others.
How would you characterize the activity level of negotiations on Dak's deal since the end of the season?
I'd say low.
Non-existent?
Yeah.
It's the last time you talked, September, basically.
Yes.
From an outsider's perspective, at least, it seems like the talks about this new CBA happened pretty quickly. The standpoint of, if it's agreed to, you would only have the one tag. I guess is that something?
I don't know that that's the case. That there's only one tag.
The ability to use one tag, a franchise or transition, if there is a new CBA.
I'm not going to speculate.
If there is a new CBA, you could possibly be able to use the franchise and transition tags.
I don't know the details.
Okay.
But we haven't, as I said, we hadn't really gone into any details with any players since the end of the season. Really want to see where the CBA is.
When you look at
The way I look at these contracts, especially, the two we're talking about, when things get momentum, they can happen in 24 hours. It's just a matter, can you get some traction and get headed in the right direction? So, sometimes time is not a good thing. Having a short fuse is a good thing. Todd,
to get that to do something quickly, you kind of run out of time, and players generally, if you get to this point,
like
they
I
want
said,
to wait.
Todd, I see deals get done once you decide. It's like DeMarcus Lawrence went on for months and weeks, and then we got on the phone with him, and it was done in 36 hours. Same thing with Zeke. I mean, there's a lot of sitting and waiting, and then you get the momentum, and then things happen. So no, I'm not working on the months, a long time in a negotiation.
you guys always say that the door's always open to get a deal done. You guys got a lot of deals when you look at some of these contracts. Robert Quinn, Randall Cobb, Byron Jones. Do you guys have a list as to who you want to sort of get done first, or is it your door's open?
I mean, we have a list, and certainly this is where it starts, especially with our own guys right here at Indy. And, I think we're going to, know where we are on the CBA more than likely, sooner than later. And, we're going to be here at Indy visiting with agents, and our goals and we certainly have priorities. And, our goal is to sign as many of our guys as we can sign. I mean, we like our players. That's always been, our priority is to go that direction. And then, where we come up short, we'll certainly look to free agency and see where we can fill holes.
Is it any different this year with a whole new coaching staff and one wanting these guys to all be present during all these off-season workouts or not?
Oh, I think it is important with the new coaching staff, and obviously Mike would like to have them all there. So, obviously most of them are going to find their way in quick order. And the question mark's been Dak and Amari. If we can get that done in quick order, that's certainly our preference. I know it's their preference more than likely.
Is Dak, if Dak is tagged and doesn't show, does that, or the threat of not showing us, does that play out?
I'm not going to speculate.
Leighton Vander Esch, it's my understanding he's working out a little bit more in Boise. Have you guys been in contact with him?
With Leighton, yes, our doctors have, and certainly
feedback?
Feedback's good. Feel good about it.
Any decision on Lee and Witten as far as bringing them back?
Well, Sean and Jason, obviously, I mean, they're special guys to this organization. What they've accomplished, what they've been as men, as people, as leaders, they're special. And as I said, our goal is to sign as many of our guys as we can sign. But I'm not going to get into going down each player. I mean, commented on Dak and Amari, and that's really it.
Your philosophy in free agency has been to not spend big money. You have relatively good cap room, even if you have to use your tag or transition tag.
What numbers are you looking at?
Well, theoretically, you're at $79 million with a chance to make more without coming into some other things. But
we're going to have some challenges with our cap. I mean, we are, and certainly, with Dak and Amari, that's going to shrink it in a hurry. And we're going to have challenges, but they're not challenges that we can't overcome. So, it's going to be something that we've really got to, keep our fingers on. Certainly, if there's a CBA, if there's not a CBA, things get a lot tighter in terms of the rules. So, we'll have to deal with that.
Challenges are because of what you want to do with Dak and Amari, correct?
Correct. Well, there'd be challenges anyway
Right.
because of the rules when you go into the last year of the collective bargaining agreement. There's inherent rules that go with that make it a bigger challenge.
What are your
I know
needs?
you guys always say best player available, but how would you see guys prioritizing sort of needs on this team heading into the draft?
Best player available.
I was trying to work you
How
out.
about just the needs you need to show up in free agency? And where are the holes on this team to take that next step?
A lot of it's going to depend, Clarence, where we end up before it starts. And certainly, we have some priorities that we think we can get done, past Dak and Amari. And we think there's some, things we can get done before free agency starts. But if they don't, we'll certainly have our priorities there. And if we feel they're not working out, then we'll look elsewhere.
The defensive end, give us a lot of priorities because you don't have any players there to sign.
Yeah. Well, I think in general, defense is the priority for this offseason, whether it's getting some of our own guys back or whether it's a free agency or whether it's the draft. I think, if you look at our roster, obviously most of our offensive roster are either under contract or they're going to have restrictions to where we have a great opportunity to keep them.
I know you value Byron Jones, but he almost gets forgotten a little bit about. We're talking about Dak and Amari. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Byron's a guy we think a lot of. I mean, he's had a great run at corner. He's played really well, played at a high level, and that's the hard thing when you have quite a few good players on your football team is you get challenges. And I know Byron understands that, but at the same time, he's worried about Byron as he should be. And certainly, we'll visit with his guys while we're here. Kind of see their direction, what they're thinking, and we'll keep, we'll have to keep moving.
You got like three guys that are at the top of the food chain in terms of salaries. Like Amari, Dak, and even Byron. Is it hard to say you can't get everyone taken care of? Especially when you look at Byron.
Well, it's just going to be difficult depending on where the numbers are and what the rules are. Whether there's a CBA, whether there's not a CBA, all those things are, going to play into and are going to be variables in terms of what our strategy is and what our discussions will be with these guys as we move forward.
Does upgrading the special teams talent of this roster need to be a priority this offseason as well as
I mean, it's something, we're always looking to get better. Special teams will, we obviously made a change at kicker halfway through it, and Kai came in and did a great job. Chris battled through, as a true veteran does, battled through an injury, and, still have a lot of confidence in him. And, of course, LP's old man River. We can count on him, so he keeps getting the job done. And then, the coverage units, those usually happen if you draft well and you get the right guys signed on your team. Then you're going to have guys who should be able to be good on special teams. Obviously, we made a change there, and we feel like we got one of the best special teams coaches in the league, and that should help as well.
Listen to all your coaches, but how much does Fossil's voice matter as it relates to personnel decisions? How influential is he going to be in kind of comprising the bottom end of this?
All these coaches have influence. I mean, we respect them or they wouldn't be our coaches, and they're going to have opinions on their players, and certainly John will have opinions, and he'll have influence with Mike and with us, and we'll just have those discussions and, make decisions accordingly.
How do you go about the draft process where you knew what Rod wanted in a defensive lineman, now you have all different coaches in different spots? What's the challenge there in trying to figure out what these coaches want?
We've already started going through it with Will. We've met, Jerry, myself, Will, met with Mike and his coaching staff, and they walked through, all their different positions, position by position, what traits, what qualities they were looking for in players, where our current players fit within those parameters. But, we'll continue as we're here at the Combine to sit. Will and his staff have met with the coaches, so our scouts know what we're looking for, both pro and college. And so that's really been a big focus of ours since Mike's gotten on board here, is to really focus on, making sure that we have a great feel for what they want. I think that's been one of Will's greatest qualities, is his interaction, his ability and his staff's ability to know what these coaches are looking for. And I think that leads to success in the draft. And certainly I think that's why we've been fortunate to do well there.
Are there marked differences between what the old staff wanted and what the new staff?
Not necessarily, no. I wouldn't say there's marked. I mean, there's some. There's going to be some. And but in general, no concerns there in terms of what they want versus what we have versus what we're going to be looking for.
This is not meant as a
you had Jason such a long time, now you got a new voice, and like how different is it for you and your dad just operating the football business?
Oh, well, Jason was outstanding, and certainly Mike's going to be outstanding. They're both pros, they're great coaches, and Mike's going to be he's a great communicator, very easy to work with, just as Jason was. And same thing with the staffs. I mean, our previous staff did a great job of communicating with us, and it was easy to work with, and I think this staff's going to be the same way.
Do you have any concerns about Tyron Smith's health and the need to have some depth there at left tackle?
Well, I think you always need a swing tackle. That's just important. You got to have a top swing tackle. We've been fortunate with Cam to have one. He's gone in and he's done a nice job for us when that happens. But it's not because of Tyron's health. We feel good about his health. Feel good that he'll be ready to roll again and have a great year for us.
And back to Leighton, will he be there for some of the off-season workouts? Is he ready to go for that yet, or what do you see?
You know what? I'm going to need to get I don't want to speculate on that. Obviously, once we see him, we'll have a better feel for it. But he'll have some limitations up till training camp.
Gotcha.
Before we really turn him loose.
A lot of moving pieces on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys navigating, piecing together that unit with all the influx there?
Well, I think a lot of it will depend on our guys, who we keep and who we don't. Then we'll get into filling some needs through free agency, if that's what it takes. And then ultimately, as I said, I think defense in general, it's fair to say it's, a focus of ours in terms of, with all the free agents we have over there, and then trying to just improve so we can be a better football team.
This year you finally target safety.
Not gonna speculate. That poor safety position, though, it gets shorted every time.
Des has gone out of his way to text you and make sure that he's right next to that facility working out. You got any plans just to go over there and peep him?
Well, we'll go over that as a staff, as we move forward. Obviously, our focus has been our own guys in terms of, the guys we had here last year. And then as we start to expand the web, then we'll look at things like that.
The meetings you guys had the last couple of days, are there any good recommendations you coming off from the PI rule change, everything like that?
I think right now we're just in, we're in study. I mean, we're looking at it. We're looking at, how it functioned last year. How can we be better? Those type of things. So I don't think we're ready for any recommendations yet. Obviously, we'll spend a lot of time in Naples really trying to get our hands around it and come up with good recommendations for membership.
How do you think it worked last year?
I think it's, first time with anything, it had its challenges, and I certainly think we can be better if we have it. And that's what we're looking at, is how we can be better, to where you feel good about it. Obviously, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for our officials, and they have some, there's a lot of challenges they have in terms of the rules and those type of things. Just so my hat's off to them, but we're trying to figure out ways as a committee to make their job easier.
Is there anything with the XFL and what they've done here through these 3 weeks, like the kickoffs and the different rules that you guys may look at adopting?
We actually looked at one today. We actually looked at the kickoff, and but it was just to put it in front of us so we could be thinking about it. But certainly your eyes are always open to what anybody's doing when it comes to the game of football.
You have any thoughts on that kickoff?
I'm not ready to have thoughts yet. I mean, I've got thoughts, but I'm not ready to verbalize them yet. I'm not ready. Y'all good? Appreciate you. Thanks, guys.